Ship with Staples and save.
In-store only. Ends 4/10/21. Excludes envelopes, postage stamps, labels, and office tapes while supplies last.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Protecting your family and your possessions. There's very little in life that ranks higher on a daily to-do list than that. And the first line of defense in that protection is literally the roof over your head. It's a barrier to the brutal extremes of the sun, the wind, the rain, the hail, and the winter. Oh, the Michigan winters. They prey upon weaknesses in your roof like a lion on a gazelle. Luckily, you have Victor's Roofing on your side. Victor's Roofing has more 5-star reviews than any other roofing company in Michigan. Victor's Roofing offers a free video inspection of your roof. Victor's Roofing offers a lifetime leak-free guarantee. And Victor's Roofing will repair or replace your roof quickly, efficiently, and leave the area around your home cleaner than they found it. Guaranteed. Protecting your family and your home is a big job. Don't go it alone. Call Victor's Roofing today for a free roof inspection and estimate. 734-773-1100 or book an appointment online at victorsroofing.com. victorsroofing.com.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike Capura of National Benefit Plans. For affordable life insurance, log on to nbphealth.com.
The Detroit Tigers host the Minnesota Twins. Pre-game today at 12:15 on 97.1 The Ticket. Live from the Jamie Samuelson studio, here's Stoney and Jensen.
97.1 The Ticket. We weren't watching live Saturday night. I'm sure you heard all about it anyway by now. Gonzaga win over UCLA 93-90. And obviously it featured one of the great buzzer beater shots of all time. But more than that, guys, it was just one of the greatest games in any sport that I've ever seen. And obviously recency bias, it's in there. There's no doubt about it. But it was just unfreaking believable. Because, the performance was so good by both teams from most of the game. I mean, UCLA shot 57%. Gonzaga shot almost 59%. There were, just in regulation alone, 19 lead changes and 13 times.
Yeah.
The game went back and forth. I mean, there was one point where I thought Gonzaga was going to put it up. Or pull it away. They were up, I think it was like 66-59. And they had the ball on Ayehi, who was a pretty good player. Everybody talks about the other guys. He was unbelievable. He's from France and took a floater and missed him. He rushed, and then all of a sudden UCLA got on a run and came back. And God, everything happened in that game. Great defense. The Suns blocked that led to the Timmy jam. The relentlessness of UCLA's defense to keep guys like Kispert, who did not have a really good game. He had some key buckets late, but it was just unbelievable, the intensity and the back and forth. And every time you said, all right, Gonzaga, you got to stop Jaquez, they couldn't stop him. Just like he was a machine. He was incredible.
Yeah, and Jazang, it was one of those games where, like you mentioned Kispert, like he had his moments where he wasn't the player that we've seen all year, but then right before halftime, he was a key in getting them up by 1 at half. At the end of the game, he had some key shots, but the lead changes, the drama, and I didn't think going into this game, and with the score 45-44 at halftime, I didn't think UCLA could hang with them scoring.
You know?
And because Gonzaga, scoring 93 for Gonzaga, that's not outside the box. Scoring 90 for UCLA, that's outside the box. And they just kept at it, time and time again. It was an unbelievable game. And this is one of those games, for me, that my son and my kids are ages from 9 to 15. I believe that this is one of those moments that will make them a tournament fan, a college basketball because they had a chance to witness one of the great games in the history of the tournament, but also in the history of college basketball. And when you do that as a kid, it just sticks with you.
In the history of sports,
Right.
it was one of the greatest games of any sport.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think you're overstating it. I think the compete level throughout the game rivaled Duke, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
And Duke, Kentucky even got, there was a point where Duke looked like they were about ready to pull away. And I don't think that got moved out either. I think Gonzaga got a little close, but not like Duke did today. But I still can't go there in terms of the greatest ending. I think it's the way, the recency bias. The later play is the better miraculous play in my mind because you got to include the pass.
I disagree with that because the thing that was so great to me about the Gonzaga play was the fact that he didn't call timeout.
Yeah, I know. It was great how it just happened. It was there was no like pre-produced,
And yes, the Leitner shot was great. And I'm not taking anything away. Grant Hill's pass was wonderful. But it basically was he caught the ball, and it took a jump shot. This was just like, I mean, it was a great play. Oh, that's it.
Leitner's brilliance in knowing how much time he
I
had.
don't know. Look, like I said, I won't take away. It was a great play. Like we're arguing about minuscule amounts of greatness.
I also think the build up in that game though that it did go overtime as well, and that I think it was Sean Woods, right?
Yes.
To hit the shot off the glass before. I thought that added more drama than the UCLA bucket right before. They're very similar, but I don't know. I still why are we?
Right, exactly. We're arguing.
I still think the greatest ending ever is the NC State. I'll never go away from that because it had everything. It was miraculous, and it wasn't supposed to be a pass. And
Right.
That whole team, the ride that they had.
Right, and I agree with you somewhat, and that's why I said for my kids that this was going to be that one, because that happened in 1983, right? I was 7 years old when that happened, and I don't remember that game like it was yesterday, but I remember moments of that game. I remember feeling of that game, and obviously, watching Jimmy V run around afterwards. The one that I think is the greatest, and it's I don't want to take away what Suggs did or what Gonzaga and UCLA have meant. I don't want to take away what Duke and North Carolina was, but they weren't a championship game.
Yes, you're right.
And for me, it comes down to, and obviously the NC State game, that's a championship game. That fits this what I'm talking about. But the 2016 national championship game, Villanova, North Carolina, where North Carolina hits, Marcus Page hit a shot with, 5 seconds left?
Not only did he hit a shot, it was a prayer. It was like he double clutched it and miraculously goes in, and then they come down and boom.
Chris Jenkins.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, that may be one of the most underrated great moments in sports. Because people don't talk about that.
I know.
And to me, as the greatest buzzer beater, I mean, that might have to be it.
That's it for me.
I mean, my favorite moment's NC State, but that has to be the greatest buzzer beater. I mean, it was unplanned as well. It was frantic. They went down the court and boom, championship. You know, the greatest thing about that is that Wojo won the squares thing that we're in, and that Jamie missed it by a point, and Jamie never stopped bitching about it, and then he started calling it a pyramid scheme.
It was and that game, that was a great buzzer beater, but that game was also great too, if you remember. I mean, Villanova shot, I'm looking at the bottom, 58% in that game.
Oh yeah, and both teams were 19 to 31 from behind the arc.
Yeah.
The all-timer though that is left on the table that would have been Gordon Hayward.
Oh, yes.
Gone, and that was Hoosiers.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It would I don't think that moment ever would have been topped. If I could change one outcome, I actually think I would rather have Gordon Hayward's shot go in than Nicholas Lidstrom's shot in Game 7. Because that just would have taken it to OT. And the Wings had all those championships already in great moments, and that's one of my local sports hurts, probably the biggest one with trouble with the snap in the last 20 years. But from a grand scheme of things in sports and the pleasure of if Hayward's shot went in, I just don't know if it ever would have been topped.
You're sacrificing a chance for a local championship for Butler?
No, for a moment, a moment of pleasure and joy universally, probably. because it would have happened to do.
So you're doing it for the greater good of the world. I get that.
It's not always selfish and greed, Stoney.
I know.
Not always about me.
Our telephone number is 248-539-9797. Was it the best game ever? In any sport, really. I mean, was it the greatest ending of any game? I mean, I've seen, you go through lists, give the Doug Flutie play and, those type of miracles and things like that in other sports. But this was just the whole game. Because you kept waiting for UCLA to fold. You were waiting for them to fold against Michigan State, against Alabama, against Michigan, and you're waiting to fold against Gonzaga, too.
Now, the Twitter poll is up on the Stoney and Jansen with Heather Twitter page. What is the best buzzer beater in the history of the NCAA tournament? We've got Chris Jenkins of Villanova, Jalen Suggs of Gonzaga, Christian Leitner of Duke, and I threw in Lorenzo Charles, too, of NC State. Now, here's why I think it's the Leitner shot. Because there's one element that has not been brought up here. Jenkins, Leitner, Charles. All three of those, tie game. Leitner had the pressure of, you miss it, you're going home.
Right.
And those other three, if they miss, they're still going to overtime.
True.
And I think that is a huge factor why I would go with the Leitner shot.
Okay, that's
a good point.
Good point.
Yeah.
The only reason I will say no to that, and it's, like I said, it's very, we're semantics here, is that was to get to the Final Four as opposed to the others when one was for a championship, two were for a championship, and one was to get to a championship.
Well, Duke had the pressure of repeating, though, too.
That's true.
As well. And I also think the fact that he's the greatest college basketball player in my life, that factors in as well, because it's the ultimate legendary moment for him in his career.
That is definitely true. 248-539-9797. Where does it rank in tournament history? What is your favorite buzzer beater or ending of a game? It doesn't have to be, basketball, but your favorite ending of a game like that. 248-539-9797.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, traffic volumes are starting to pick up on your drive this morning. No reports of accidents, though, at the moment. Construction is coming up today, 75 northbound near the Michigan-Ohio border, right lane closure between 9 and 5 today. There's also road work scheduled involving single lane closures for the Davison westbound service drive at Dequindre beginning this morning through the end of the month. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
The Detroit Pistons play the Oklahoma City Thunder. Pregame tonight at 6:35 on 97.1 The Ticket.
It's title time, and FanDuel Sportsbook is hooking you up like a champion. They're celebrating the big game with 40-1 odds on whichever team you choose. That's right, new users get 41-1 odds on either team to win the championship game. You can win $200 on a $5 bet. Listen, if you've been watching from the sidelines all tournament long, where you been? Now is the perfect time to get in on the action. All you have to do is download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, make your first deposit to unlock exclusive 40-1 odds. Just sign up with promo code WOCHO so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code WOCHO. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. New users only. Must wager in designated offer market. $10 first deposit required. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems? Call 1-800-270-7117.
Help Mother Waddles to help those in need by donating your car. Your car donation to Mother Waddles will provide food and shelter to the poorest of the poor. Call Mother Waddles today and change a life. Call 313-WADDLES.
This Odyssey.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Northville Lumber.
This is Boomer Esiason with an Odyssey Sports Minute. You think Aaron Rodgers prepared intensely to beat Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game, folks? Apparently that was child's play compared to his film work getting ready to guest host his favorite show, Jeopardy! I watched hours and hours and hours of episodes, Rodgers said, but I had to watch from a different perspective. From Alex's perspective, I couldn't watch it as a fan anymore. I took pages and pages and pages of notes, the three-time MVP said. I wrote down every affirmative that he said to any type of clue. I wrote down how he would respond if they didn't get it right. I wrote down all the different ways he would take it to break. Literally, I studied for this like no other. I wanted to absolutely just crush it. You can judge for yourself how well he does, starting tonight, folks.